Welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video. We sell all the coolest Japanese collectibles and figurines straight out of Japan. And you can find out more details about us in the description of this video, including our Facebook page and our online store. So this is a pretty special video actually, and I don't normally say this, but if you do enjoy this video, please like, comment and subscribe, because it did actually take me a long time to set everything up to do this video, because I actually do have them displayed in a few different parts normally, but I put everything together, and this is my personal Japanese figurine collection. By Japanese I mean figures that I've collected while living in Japan, which basically are Japanese figures as opposed to Western releases. I have done one of these videos before, and from memory it was in December 2015, so it has been quite some time and a lot has changed. And I've been wanting to do this video, well actually I wouldn't say wanted to do, but thinking of doing this video for a while, and because it just takes so long to sort of set up everything and do. So here we are. So rather than actually go through each figure one by one, I'll talk about my figurine collection more in general and talk about maybe some common questions or things that people may be wondering. Now, all of the figures that you see in this video, or the majority of the figures that you see in this video, you can buy from our store. The links are in the description. If there is something that you want to buy and you can't see on our store, it probably means it's old and very collectible and we don't stock it. But in that case, you can get in touch with us again using the details in the description of the video, and perhaps we can sort something out. So I'm going to just sort of generally ask some questions that you guys might have, and if there's something that you do want to know that I have not addressed in the video, by all means leave a comment and I can answer it, or you might have a question about one of the figures that somebody else may be able to answer. So the first question is maybe about the size of the collection. Now, the purpose of this video is not to boast or brag or show off or anything like that. I am well aware that there are people who have much larger, impressive collections than myself. This is just me showing, what I actually have, and this is actually not all of it. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But I'm very satisfied with what I have. I live in a pretty small place in Japan. I don't have a lot of room to display stuff, and already this is, quite a lot. So I'm quite satisfied with what I have. And even I do really try and restrict what I keep and don't keep, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Now, why don't I have glass shelving? Because I know a lot of people have these glass cubes. The main reason really is that I like having my figures just open and very clear to display, because even glass cases, they get dirty, they get dusty. It really doesn't bother me that my figures get dusty. I only clean them once a year, if that. And the other reason, as silly as it may sound, is in Japan we do have a lot of earthquakes, and if you've ever experienced a strong earthquake, you'll know it's not a pleasant feeling. So living in a small place with towers of glass is really not a very good idea, and that is the other reason why I don't use glass cases. These shelves I bought from Nitori, which is, like, people call it the Japanese IKEA. So that's where I got these shelvings from. And one thing I do actually like about these shelves is that you can actually adjust where the shelves screw in, and you may not notice it, but what I actually do is I put the top shelf, I make the top compartment smaller and then each one bigger as you go down. And the reason for that is because when you look at the shelves from eye level, and just to, my eye level is sort of up around here, then as you look down, you can't see, like the bottom shelf you can barely see. So by changing the height of each shelf, it does somewhat negate that effect. And I don't know, I don't think you can do that with glass cases. Maybe some of them you can, but I don't think normally you can. So the main thing is, how do I decide what to keep? So firstly, as you'll notice, I do not have any One Piece figures. I do love One Piece. I used to collect them. I don't anymore. I decided I would collect Lego Pirate because I love Lego Pirate as a kid. I will show that in a separate video. And since One Piece is sort of a pirate series, that's why I don't have any One Piece. I mean, there are a lot of other series I like. I love My Hero Academia, which is very popular at the moment. Again, just, don't really have the space for it, etc., etc. I also do not keep any large figures. So in the previous video back from a few years ago, you would have seen, I think, the gold Shenron and the Ozaru Vegeta with Goku sort of Ichiban Kuji scene. Love those figures, but they're just so big and they take up so much room, and that's why I don't have them. So there are a lot of nice figures, particularly in recent years that have been released. Super Master Stars Piece, Master Stars Piece, Ichiban Kuji's, Grandista, all those kind of lines I generally do not keep. So that is that. I also don't have any GT figures, mainly because there aren't really any bad guys, and to me it doesn't make sense to collect the bad guys if you don't have the good guys. So like Omega Shenron, Nova Shenron, Baby, those kind of figures. I also generally, but mainly the thing is, I really try and keep figures that display well together. That is the thing that I'm most interested in. So, for example, this figure I don't particularly like. I mean, it's not a fantastic figure. It's a nice figure, but it's not fantastic. But the reason that I keep that is because it goes very well with the Frieza, because these were sort of a set. Even though, in my opinion, this Goku is actually a overall better figure. The other thing I also try and do is limit the figures to one per character. So you'll notice that the Super Saiyan Goku, I actually have 3 here, but they all sort of have different display purposes. So that's why I have that. So sometimes I break that rule, but like, for example, this figure's kind of a little ugly. The neck is a little bit low and stuff, but as a set with, King Vegeta and the 3 generations and everything, it just looks really, really nice. So that's how I generally decide those kind of things. I also don't collect Dragon Ball Super. I'm not a huge fan of Dragon Ball Super, frankly, so that's why I don't have that. So that's, generally how I decide what to keep. And then some figures are just so amazing and great that you just want to keep them anyway. How much money did I spend to get these? Yeah, I mean, I should say it's none of your business. I mean, I don't know, it's probably a couple of grand. I've got them. I mean, if you were to buy these probably from where you guys are overseas, it would cost more because, you got to pay like import taxes, the seller's got to make a profit, you got to pay shipping, etc., etc. So I've done pretty well, I think. I definitely, as I say, can get things cheaper in Japan, and of course working for Figuring Out Japan, so that definitely that helps. Yeah. Now, do I have any more figures? Yeah, I said I was going to talk about that. So I don't actually have space to display all of the figures, so that's why I don't actually have them out. But I have the Super Saiyan Future Gohan Resolution of Soldiers. I have Android 16, Android 20, Perfect Cell, all from S Cultures 1. I also have the Trunks Time Machine WCF Mega. I've got the small Dragon Balls that go in those spots. That's also a very collectible figure from the WCF line. I've got Super Saiyan Vegeta S Cultures 6 Special, Majin Buu S Cultures 3, and there was another one I was going to mention. Mr. Satan slash Hercule S Cultures line. There's probably one or two others that I am forgetting, but yeah. But the reason I don't open them is because I just don't have the space. That's why. It's got nothing to do with the value and that. I always find it amusing. People say, "Oh, I'm not going to open the figure because I want to keep the value." That's just silly. It really is. My favorite figure, to me, would be this figure, the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I just love that figure, and it was also one of the figures I first saw in Japan. In fact, it was the first one that I saw in Japan. But there are a lot of other ones that I really like. The King Vegeta is very special. The Frieza. And actually, one of my favorites, or most important to me, is the Vegeta, because this is the only figure, this one right here, that has been with me throughout all the different places that I've lived in. And just very quickly at the end, just some other random stuff. So some M&M dispensers. I think I bought them in Jordan, but that was from my Egypt trip. Mementos from my wedding. I bought them to go on the cake, but my wife was opposed to that, so we just had them. Opened them and that, but we just had them at reception. And my sister bought that for me from the Pug Cafe in Japan. But I'd love to hear your guys' comments about your collection and how you decide what you keep, and the different, your collecting habits. I'd love to hear those. So make sure you leave a comment, and check out, as I said, our online store and details in the description of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.